Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, we thank God for today because we can still do the proposal seminar even though it is less than optimal because it does not go through an offline session. And of course, we give thanks to our supervisor, Ma'am Dwi Rianti, who have guided the writing of our class proposal. And thanks to for everyone who is attending this seminar. And let me introduce myself. My name is Ferry Beranduta Barat, as the moderator of Sari Setiawati's proposal. And we have January Didiat as the first discussion, Windy Ayu Anggita as the second discussion, and the last is Maizari as the note taker. The title of the proposal we are going to discuss is Understanding English Listening Self-Efficiency of Second Semester English Language Education Student at Tanjung Pura University. So, without any extensive word introduction, I would like to invite Sari Setiawati to present her proposal presentation. So, Sari Setiawati, the time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, especially Ma'am Dwi Rianti, the discussion, the moderator and the note taker, the audiences in happiness. So thank you very much for the opportunity. In this time, I'm going to present my research proposal entitled Understanding English Listening Self-Efficacy of Second Semester English Language Education Students at Tanjung Pura University. Alright, let's go on with the first part, that is the background. As we know that English is one of the famous programs in Tanjung Pura University. However, some students took English because of the compulsion. For example, when they had a test of SBMPTN or Mandarin test or maybe SMPTN, their prior choice did not pass, whereas English is just the second one. For example, when the student chose Indonesian language as the first choice and English as the second choice, it turned out that their Indonesian language or the first choice did not pass, and just the second one that passed, that is English. So they take it because of the compulsion. Sometimes because of their parents force them to take it, or maybe they are shy if they don't take it. And also for the new students, they are required to join TOEFL tests. And after they got the result, it turned out the result was not as what have been expected before it, especially in listening section. They said that, oh, it's very difficult. It's hard to recognize what the speaker said in the audio. And then the environment in the students really affect their self-efficacy. And because the environment does not support the students to practice English in their daily life. Although if they are with their friends who take English as well, so they cannot get the exposure of English listening. And then the negative experiences that the students have will make them not interested in English listening, especially when they got bad score from their TOEFL test. So because they got bad score, it makes them more not confident in their ability. And ladies and gentlemen, in listening class, the student will have strong self-efficacy. They tend to believe if they can't. They tend to believe of their ability. So when they face the problems when studying English listening, they will survive, they will face it. But for the students who have bad self-efficacy or low self-efficacy, they tend to give up. They tend to say that, oh, I'm not confident of what I'm doing. They do not believe of their ability. Dear audiences, when we know the level of self-efficacy, it will give a lot of benefits actually, especially for the student in this study program for the second semester. Firstly, for the student, they will know the strategy and the technique for themselves in improving their English listening skill. They will know if they feel that their friend zoned, if it's a good way to improve their self-efficacy, so they will do it. They will be always in that environment. And also for the lecturers or for the teachers, the lecturers will know the good strategy, the good way in teaching listening to their students when they know how the self-efficacy in their students. So when the lecturers know the listening to song can improve the self-efficacy in students, so the lecturers will do it in the processes of teaching and learning. Ladies and gentlemen, this research is conducted because of the gap with the previous research conducted by Diana Lestari in 2017. She examined the correlation between self-efficacy concerning listening skill and listening comprehension of the 11th grade student. So now I'm going to conduct this research as well, but no longer in senior high school, but in university student. Okay everyone, let's go on to the next part, that is research question. So firstly, what is the level of second semester English listening self-efficacy of English language education student at Tanjung Pura? And then, what are the causes? What are the causes that make the student self-efficacy to be low and high? Now, is the research significant and the research purpose? The purpose of this research is to investigate English. To investigate the second semester student English listening self-efficacy of English language study program at Tanjung Pura University. And the research significance, hopefully that this research will help the development of teaching and learning of English study program, especially in listening skill. For the student, hopefully it will increase their self-efficacy in English listening. Especially for second semester of English language education at Tanjung Pura University. Hopefully, this research will be benefit to the lecturers to provide the strategy or as appropriate way when teaching English listening to the second semester student at Tanjung Pura University. Then, hopefully, this research will be useful for the researcher or myself to know the cause of self-efficacy student or the factors that cause student self-efficacy to be low and high. And then, for the other researcher, hopefully this research will give more the information as a source for further research, especially in English listening self-efficacy. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now is terminology. Firstly is self-efficacy. I define it as self-efficacy is one's belief in his or her ability in English listening. Second is listening, hearing attentively of English listening. Third is the subject of this research, that is the second semester of English education student in Tanjung Pura University. In the subject is the subject of this research. Alright, let's go on with the theoretical theory or theoretical framework or frame of theory. Firstly is listening. Listening is the ability to understand and what others are saying. This involves understand a speaker's accent, pronunciation, grammar, and vocabulary, then grasping the meaning. It's based on Sakir Waban in 1999. So just imagine, ladies and gentlemen, the students should do extra when they do the listening English. They should know the grammar, the structure, and the vocabulary as well. Self-efficacy. Self-efficacy is defined as people's belief about their capabilities to produce the same level of performance that exercise influence over events that affect your lives. It also plays significant roles in determining one's own thinking, feeling, and also behavior motivation. Lastly is mastery experience is the failure or the successful of prior experience, and the second is vicarious experience, or it's called as modeling. People can learn from other experience. The third is emotional and psychological. It's the feeling of anxiety, fear, worry, and so on. And the fourth is verbal persuasion. Verbal persuasion is what other people say our about our ability. It is interesting to note that the second semester of English language education at Tanjung Pura always complains that English listening is very hard skill. It's complicated one, especially when they got the result of their TOEFL that held by UPT Bahasa. This is one of the things that can make the students' self-efficacy get lower because of the experiences that they had. Yeah, because they had the experiences of getting the bad result from their TOEFL test. Moreover, the accent of English all varies. There are British accent, American, and Australian. So this will make the student more uninterested to listen to English sound. In addition, the environment surround the students also can influence their self-efficacy. Among the lecturers, their families, and also their friends. If their friends always speak English or practice their English, so their environment will make their self-efficacy increase. Ladies and gentlemen, if the student know about their self-efficacy, it will make them know what good strategy or is appropriate technique to take when they want to increase their listening. They will know what kind of method that can be done by them. If students can appraise their own capabilities accurately, they will be able to take the appropriate ways, maintain their interest and cognitive skills. In addition, the benefit of this study can also be used by the lecturers. How? When the lecturers know the level of their students' self-efficacy, they will know what kind of strategy, the great strategy, the appropriate ways that will be done in the process of teaching and learning to increase the students' self-efficacy. Yeah, especially in English listening. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go on to the frame of concept. Self-efficacy can never be separated in the process of learning English. Then there are a lot of benefits that can be done. So a lot of benefits when we know the level of self-efficacy of students, especially for the second semester of English language education at Tanjung Pura University. Yeah. Besides, they are still low semester, so it will give them a lot of time to increase their English listening. Moreover, there are some causes or the factors that make the student self-efficacy to be low and high, as what I have explained it according to Bandura. Ladies and gentlemen, the subject of this research is the researcher want to investigate the level of self-efficacy of second semester of English language education of Tanjung Pura University. In this study, the researcher will use the descriptive qualitative research. In the process of collecting data, the researcher will use questionnaire, listening test, and also interview methodologies. This research uses qualitative descriptive. Descriptive means that to describe systematically and accurately the fact and characteristic of a given population or area of interest. And Lincoln in 2000 claimed that qualitative involves interpretive and natural approach. This means that qualitative research attempts to make study things in their natural settings, attempting to make sense of and also to interpret the phenomena in terms of the meaning people to bring to them. This methodology focuses more on what the research subject rather than the why of the research. In other words, descriptive research primarily focuses on describing the nature of demographic segment without focusing on why a certain phenomenon occurred. The data of this research are collected from the second semester of English language education at Tanjung Pura University. The researcher used this qualitative descriptive research because the researcher assumes that the problem under study is quite complex and also and dynamic. So the data obtained from the informants are captured from natural, namely direct interviews. So the speakers and so natural answers are obtained. So it will be done in the direct interviews, face to face. And also, the result of the interview will be supported by listening test and also by the questionnaire. Ladies and gentlemen, the population of this research is 23 English language education students, 23 students of English language education students at Tanjung Pura University for the second semester. And also, the sample of this study will be 10 students. Data collection are carried out in getting the data needed. And also, in the technique of collecting data, the researcher will use firstly is questionnaire. It contains 12 questionnaires, 12 questions, and the second is English listening test. It contains 20 questions. It's all about listening test, and the third is interview. It involves 10 students. Yeah. So the samples will be gotten from the sample will be gotten from the listening test. Five students that in five top high, and the students that in top low high score. Ladies and gentlemen, in this study, the researcher used several instruments. Firstly, doing the questionnaire, and the second is English listening test, and the third is interview by 10 students. Okay, we go on to the last part. Not the last, but it's data analysis. Ladies and gentlemen, after we get the data, we will analyze it. So, in this research, all of the data will be obtained through three instruments. Firstly, yes, by doing questionnaire that will be separate to 23 students of English language education for the second semester at Tanjung Priok University. After they fill out the question of questionnaire, it will be analyzed. The questionnaire, it is a closed questionnaire. It means that the answer is already provided, that involves disagree, agree, neutral, strongly agree, and agree. So the students who answer strongly agree, it means that their self-efficacy can be high or low. It depends on the question, of course. So later on, the researcher, me, I will analyze it, and after that, the researcher will conduct the English listening test. So after the students finish answering the question, that 20, it will be 20 questions. It's all about English listening test, of course. It's all about listening. So the researcher will check their answer. The student who got 5 top high score will be the sample of interview, and the student who got 5 low score will also be the sample of interview. So after you got 10 students as the sample, the researcher will do the interview. Will be there already some questions there, the face to face. So after that, the students will make a conclusion about how their self-efficacy. Yeah. The researcher will see how the student answer to the question of interview. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's go on. Or let's see how I stick of some references and appendix. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is the references of my proposal. The Honorable Ma'am Dwi Rianti, ladies and gentlemen, and happiness. So that's all my explanation. Thank you very much for your attention. And the last I say, Sumat salam.